businesses in my mind are small businesses like you and I, like the businesses that we run, not something like the Lakers organization who received a $4.6 million loan. So I don't even know who submitted the request as a small business to the SBA for the Lakers, but whoever gave the money back, kudos. Whoever made the decision to give the money back, kudos to them, because they are my favorite team. I didn't want to have any ill will with them. But that said, let me introduce Dr. Jackson. She is the Business Development Manager for the Mayor's Office of Business Opportunity, which serves as a resource center for established and aspiring entrepreneurs that provides information on city, county, state, and federal regulations affecting the operations of Houston area businesses. In addition, OBO provides no-cost programs and services that will help small business owners thrive in today's competitive environment and going forward. So that said, Dr. Jackson, will you please give us a little bit of information on yourself and what the OBO office is doing with the small businesses right now?
Wonderful. First of all, thank you for having me. It's just a real passion of mine to help small businesses, and our office is an advocate for small businesses because we recognize the role that small business plays in the overall economy. And so with that, our certification program is one of the major things that we offer. We do have our Solution Center, which offers like you said, free help to small businesses, whether they are trying to start a business, grow their business. We have capacity building programs as well to help them to do that. We also have business counseling, and we partner with various organizations to give opportunities for small businesses, and also with funding, help them to fund their business. Our certification program is basically the cornerstone in helping and ensuring that small businesses have the opportunity to play with the larger businesses. There's a multitude of contracts that go out. In our fiscal year 2019, we awarded over $2 billion in business overall. And out of that $2 billion, over $500 million went to small businesses. And that is through our certification program. We have minority, which is race, women, gender, and small business, which is construction-related businesses only. And those programs, those certifications, along with our disadvantage certification program, which is normally federal contracts. And I always like to highlight that one really quickly, because if people don't fall into the minority or woman-owned category or small business in the construction-related category, that DBE is for folks who have a net worth less than 1.32 million minus their primary residence. And we also have certification in persons with disabilities and also for airport concessions. And so how that all comes together, the city of Houston, we have those large contracts. A small business may not be able to bid on that entire contract, but they can work on that contract as a subcontractor. And that's how the certification comes into effect. If you're a minority or a woman-owned small business owned certified to the city of Houston, then the prime contractor has to pull from a group of those who are certified in order to get that work. So in general, if there is a contract out there for $1 million, that means 34% would be allocated to a small business, to a subcontractor who is certified. And that's where our program comes into effect. It gives small businesses the opportunity to work on larger contracts in hopes that it gives them work, but to gradually move them into being a prime contractor.
So Dr. Jackson, in short, what's the process of getting the certification? So it sounds, for me, and when it was explained to me, it gives you an opportunity as a small business to do some portion of, say, a $3 million contract, right? But in order to get to be allocated that job or be considered as a sub, you have to submit, your documentation and prove that you're a small business. Is there, and you have to take a class. I remember going and I had to take a class. Is that about the gist of it, of getting the certification?
Pretty much. It's all about filling out an application. that you can fill out at our website, houstontx.gov/OBO. And you'll see it about the third down. It'll say certification forms. You'll click on that and you'll go through a process of submitting your forms as far as your designation of your business, whether you're a sole proprietorship, LLC, your tax documents, and other documents that go along with you being a business. And it explains it through there. And so the process right now is about a 6-month process. So I tell people, if you're interested in doing business with the city, start the process now. Don't wait until you have an opportunity to start the process, but start the process now. Do the application and submit it, and then it goes through various audits. And then once your application has been approved, then you will receive the certification in the mail that you are certified with the City of Houston. And just know that with that process, any jobs with the City of Houston, you have to be city certified, but other organizations do accept our certification as well. So it's not just to work and to take advantage of opportunities with the City of Houston, but a lot of governmental agencies around our Houston area and in our county. And we used to have, prior to the pandemic, we used to have a class that you could come to every Thursday at 2 p.m. that will walk you through the process of completing the application. But now we have moved that class online. So it's still available on our website, houstontx.gov/OBO, and you can view that class online, and that'll help you to move seamlessly through the application process.
Okay. And are there construction is a big part of probably a big swath of people who apply, but are there any businesses that are lacking right now, like architects, engineers? Are they able to take advantage of this, or is it just physical, like construction type company?
The City of Houston has a entire gamut of opportunities available. Yes, there's architecture and engineering opportunities. There's also, if you're in retail, because remember, the City of Houston is buying for all the different departments in the City of Houston. So think about police officers have to have uniforms. So if you're in retail, there's opportunities there. Food, there's opportunities there. Pretty much every industry has the opportunity to do business with the City of Houston, and that certification will get you into the door. It's like the first step in really taking advantage of having opportunities and doing business with the City of Houston and other governmental agencies. So there's definitely opportunity for pretty much every industry.
Got it. Wow. So I'm going to put a link on our Red Door Conversation page for the Houston Business Opportunities site, and to help people walk through the process if they missed it through the explanation here, but at least it'll be out there and available for small business to take advantage of. What else? Tana, I think we were talking earlier about DBAs, LLCs, because that's something that I think you have to have, Dr. Jackson, in order to apply for a small business. You have to have an LLC or DBA? Yes,
you have to be a business. And one thing I want to point out is some of the other certifications that are available in the city, there's a time frame of having your business, operating your business. With our certification, there's really no time frame. So if you have been in business for a month and just say you have already made money, then you can go ahead and apply for our certification. So just make sure that you have your business, and what we're doing with that certification is making sure that you're an actual business and that you operate as an actual business.
Okay. Now I have a question. With so many people operating business, especially now out of their homes, how does that work as far as them applying?
It doesn't affect it at all. The application is online. You just go online to apply. We're just trying to make sure that you're an actual business. So whether your business is conducted online or in a physical atmosphere, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
We're looking that you're a business and you're able to perform under the premise of what you say your business is.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Okay.
So that said, Tana, we were talking about, oh, sorry, there's some feedback. We were talking about um, small businesses, like Dr. Jackson said, if you're just starting out, you know, what do you need? If it's a DBA, LLC, like how do you go about even getting a DBA? Or, I mean, we know, but how would one, let's kind of share how people would go about getting a DBA or LLC, what those steps look like so that then they can have the opportunity to go online and apply for resources like this.
Right. So basically what they can do, you can do this a couple of ways. If you want to get your DBA, your sole proprietorship, you can either go down to the courthouse or you can, and Dr. Porscha, please, correct me if you hear me saying something incorrect, or you can go down, or you can apply online through the Secretary of State, correct? For Texas.
Yes, if you want to get your DBAs, the county clerk's office, and
Yeah.
right now I don't think they're taking people in person, but you can definitely go online and you can apply online or mail your application in. And the same with the LLC through the Secretary of State. Yes, that's correct.
Yes, and it's only a couple of bucks. It's not that expensive to go ahead and file your business as a doing business as a DBA. You can do it that way. Now with the sole proprietorship, it is the simplest business form under which one can operate a business. The sole proprietorship is not a legal entity, correct? It's not a legal entity, the sole proprietorship?
It's a legal business structure. The main difference for the audience to understand is that with the sole proprietorship, should there be any type of liability issue, it would fall on you as the person and not as a company.
Your business.
Yeah.
Yes. And then there's also, now there's 3 different business entities. I'm sorry, guys, my battery is going out. How embarrassing. I gotta jump up. Sorry. So there's also the limited liability company, which is an LLC. You can file under that as well. Now that one, if you were to, let's just say if you were to be sued, it is a legal entity. And if you were to be sued, it wouldn't affect your personal assets, correct? So it would only go after your business and not your personal assets. And then there's also the corporation. So this one gets a little bit more, I want to say complicated. And again, all of these you can file through the Secretary of State, but the corporation, now there's an S Corp and a C Corp, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so with the S Corp, you can go ahead and file again. You can go through an attorney, you can go through LegalZoom, but with the corporation, it's more business structure where you have employees, under your business name. Does anyone want to chime in and add anything to that?
Well, a lot of it is you just being able to separate your personal
from
identity from your corporation. And so, for instance, with an LLC or an S Corp, you are able to go and establish business credit, which is completely separate than your personal credit. And so, if you're a small business, you're trying to scale up, you may start with a DBA, right? And a lot of the responsibility and consequences all kind of fall on you because you're smaller, right? But if you're expanding and say you are hiring other people for like brokers, we have
our LLC
agents
who
are under our broker. They don't work
Right.
for our firm, but there's some liability there. So for our brokerage, it's a smart business play to have that as an LLC rather than have those liabilities solely on you as the individual. So.
And I think it's better that way. I'm sorry, go ahead, Kim.
No, I was just gonna say for me that was just peace of mind, and it does help you establish, okay, when you get to a point where you're like, you've taken on employees, okay, this is time for me to turn the corner and get an LLC. And it may cost you $300, $400 to do that if you go with an attorney, but make sure I would recommend you go with an attorney, help them get your articles of incorporation filed correctly, so it's all done in a proper and correct way. You just,
Well,
you know,
the LLC, you can file that. I personally don't think it's that complicated to do. You can file your LLC online, and the filing fee is like $300. It just really, I guess it really depends on the type of business that you have to determine if you need to use an attorney or not.
well, I don't know that it's not necessary. I mean, we can do a will online. We can do a lot of legal Zoom will let us do a lot of things online. But I mean, for me, my personal taste is I would say I'd go with an attorney just to make sure that I've got all of the documents in a row, and the cost and the benefit of it outweighs the cost ultimately for me. Like if there's something that happens along the way and I haven't done something correctly from the beginning, you know, it could just go so wrong. But and the other part of it is like, I don't know, I'm gonna go back to the federal lending. I don't know if you could, as a small business, secure a loan with the federal government under your personal social security number. So that's something we might want to check on and update on our website. They are still lending money to small businesses to kind of help people stay afloat and move forward in this and during COVID-19. But I think the LLC allows you to move your business in a forward direction.
Different direct, yes.
Yeah, and you
And
as
one
a
thing,
business owner have to determine when it's time to make that investment, I would say.
and one thing that you did say, Kim, is not having, you don't have to use your social security number. So I want to point that out. You can also apply for your EIN, and you can do that online as well. And we'll put these links up on our Facebook page, guys, so you can see it. But like Kim said, it's definitely a good direction to move in. If you're a small business owner, you want to determine which of these entities works best for you. If it's the sole proprietorship or the LLC or the corporation.
And it's also, I'll point this out too, it's also a good idea to talk to your CPA so you understand how tax filings will work differently once you file the LLC and you start taking income under that LLC.
Absolutely.
And then the business credit itself, that is so important because, you know, once you file and, you know, you have your business up under one of these entities, you can go and apply for your business credit. And I personally think that's better than dipping into your own pockets to pay for your business expenses.
It can get expensive, and you can only do so much with your own individual income. You know,
Correct.
I think the
Right.
LLC and establishment credit allows you to scale, right, Lisa?
Exactly. It just puts you in a different category to be able to work with. As Porscha mentioned earlier, some of the bigger companies, when you have that business credit, it allows you to do more. It allows you to leverage better. It allows you to be able to, as they say, use other people's money instead of, you know, using your own personal money, yet getting the same things accomplished. You just, I know we feel a sense of security when we operate in that manner.
Right. Just opens up.
And if I can just add too, just for the audience, business credit, when you're starting off, don't forget that your personal credit is going to affect that business credit. So it's not like you can just file for business credit and think that you're going to be able to get whatever amount that you desire. Your personal credit is going to be checked. So make sure you are getting your personal credit together so that when you do apply for business credit, you won't have a problem.
Great point.
And do you think it's a little difficult to get approved at the beginning because a business may be so brand new to get approved for business credit?
Yes, the credit, whether it's business or personal, kind of works the same. So like if you're trying to apply for a credit card as an individual and you don't have any credit, of course you're not going to get the limit that you would like to get. It's going to be small, the same as business credit, but your personal credit can get you a whole lot farther in your business credit if it's together.
Okay.
Good point. Thanks, Porscha.
Thank you.
So I guess that leads into the portion of the show that I'm to talk about, and that's your tax advantages when you are a small business owner. A lot of times, I know everybody on this podcast has done it. When they first got into business, the first year that they had their business, when it was time to do taxes, there were a lot of things that were overlooked. And so let me give the disclaimer. I am not a CPA. I am a real estate broker. I practice real estate every day. However, I have filed small business as a small business owner for the last 18 years. We have filed taxes, and these are some of the tax advantages that we've been able to partake of. And I say we because my husband and I were in business together. So these are some of the tax advantages that we've been able to take care of. As a real estate broker agent practicing, we incur auto expenses. So you can write off your mileage, and there are apps out there for you to be able to track that mileage. I must give the disclaimer also, I am not that good with that, but I do recommend that you have an app that tracks your mileage. Secondly, if the automobile that you're using for your business, if it needs repairs, you are able to write off those repairs as well. That's the first thing. So your auto expenses. And also, if you are, and Porscha, you can correct me if I'm in error on this, but if you are purchasing a car in the name of the business, you're able to write that off as well. Is that accurate? Okay. Okay. And the next thing that I have on my list that we've been able to take advantage of are the expenses that you're going to use when you go into business. So the session that Tana just discussed about your LLC and all of that information, that is whatever those expenses are, you can write those off. So, you know, we don't want you to get an attorney, whatever the fee is. If you get an attorney to do those documents, that fee can be written off as well. And the next thing I have on my list are professional fees. Professional fees, books that you purchase, ebooks that you purchase. I know I have an account with Audible. I'm able to write that off as well because there are certain things of books that I have relating to my industry, and I'm able to write that off. Professional fees. We're able to write off the fees for our CPA. Within the real estate industry, we have association fees to be a part of our association. We're able to write those fees off as well. So any professional fees within your industry, you're able to write off insurance. There is medical insurance. I have credit insurance on here. And for real estate, we have what we call errors and omissions insurance. That errors and omissions insurance, it protects us in the event that something goes wrong in one of the transactions that we have. And if you are a broker that has many agents, that E&O insurance also protects you and your agents. Mm-hmm. And Marla, Kim, Tana, if you guys want to interject on anything that I'm saying, please feel free to do that at any time. The medical, and I do know agents are able to write off medical insurance. That is not one that I do. I mention it because I know several agents that do. My husband works in industry and I'm on his insurance. So I don't write off my medical insurance, but I know that it can be done. The next thing on my list is travel. Anytime that you're traveling for your business, let's just say that you have a photography company. I'm going to use something different other than real estate. Let's just say you have a photography company and someone wants you to come and photograph their destination wedding. You can write those fees off if you are paying for, you know, your flight there, your stay at that resort. You can write those fees off. Next on my list, I have equipment. And equipment could be anything from a laptop that you're using to, if you have a construction business or if you have a trucking company, to a truck that you bought. So it's really good, guys. I recommend that you have a bookkeeper to, you know, if you don't have a CPA, get you a bookkeeper. A bookkeeper can keep track of all of this. And I also recommend, what's smart is to have 1 or 2 credit cards that you use for your business, and you put everything on those. So when it's time to do your taxes, you're able to refer back to those credit cards and everything is there. Everything is there.
All good
It
information.
makes it
Very
much
good
easier.
information.
You're not, we're not in the days of saving receipts and things of that nature. You lose all of that. I know that I do. I lose all of that. So if it's business, it's going on an American Express or the card that's attached to my banking, my bank. Those are the only two things that business expenses are put on for me. And it has made it so much easier when it's time for me to go back and get everything prepared for my CPA. The next thing I have on my list are charitable contributions. If there is a charity that you're passionate about and you give to that charity every year, you're able to write that off. The charity that I had been, or the organization that I had been giving back to for quite some time, it was real estate affiliated, but it's called Give Back Homes. Give Back Homes works in conjunction with Habitat for Humanity, and they go from city to city building homes for people who have lost their houses. So that was one thing that I gave into for many, many years. The next thing that I have on my list is educational expenses. But let's be mindful, it's educational expenses that are able to be written off that are pertaining to that particular industry. If I want to go be a doctor, I cannot write off those expenses and I'm practicing real estate. Those two industries, they're not connected in any way. So I can't do that. And the last thing, which this is a big one for us as realtors, but it's advertising and promotion. So anything you use for marketing, anything you use to advertise, I mean, it could be as small as putting one of those magnet things on your cars. I know many agents have those on their cars. You can write the cost of that off. If you get your car wrapped with your logo and picture and all of that, the cost to do that is you can write that off as well. Have I missed anything? Do any of you ladies want to add anything to that? But let me end by saying it's very important that you keep accurate records. For many, many years, my husband had impressed upon me to do that. I've been in real estate now 18 and a half years. So in the early days, I was not a good tracker of that, and consequently lost out on a lot of monies that could have come back to me. But once I learned how important it was, my records have become a lot more accurate, and we've just incorporated our CPA. He is very he assists us with that. You have to keep good records if you want to maximize what you're getting back. That's how.
Absolutely. Those records are important. And I'd like to, Dr. Jackson, in applying as a small business owner, how important do you think these, having everything in order is? How much easier can it make the process?
100% easier, because when you're applying for that certification, you do have to provide your documentation as far as any paperwork that you use to file your business, also in taxes. So you'll need to have your statements, your financial statements together for 3 years, up to 3 years, the past 3 years to file for that certification. And actually, I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's what takes a lot of people a lot of times to fill out the application. If they do not have any records, they don't know, papers are here, papers are there, and they have to try to find all that information and put it together and upload it into the system for the application. So thank you for pointing that out. That will make the process a whole lot better.
Absolutely. Can you give us a website that we can go to? How would we find that information for the people, our audience that's listening?
Yeah, if they just go to HoustonTX.gov/OBO, and you'll see right there on that home page, it'll say certification. You just click on that link and it has all the information. And also, if anybody has any questions, because I know sometimes the process can be overwhelming, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is Porscha, PORSCHA.Jackson@HoustonTX.gov.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. You have been very helpful in helping us to get small business owners that swift kick that we all need sometimes to get our businesses where we need them to be. Thank you so much, and thank you to our audience that has been listening to us on today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and to Dr. Jackson for her email address that she just gave. Also, you can send us your questions on our Red Door Conversations page via Facebook. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And
Happy Mother's Day to the
Thank you. Happy
mothers.
Mother's Day, guys.
Mother's Day.
Thank
All right, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
good day.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.